Sige po. Okay, okay.
Isang magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at malugod na pagbati mula sa Future Earth Philippines. Welcome po sa ka-89th episode ng The Filipino SDG Action Hour. Muli nyo kaming samahan sa isa't kalahating oras ng exciting at makabuluhang talakayan tungkol sa mga bagay o paksa na napapanahon at tiyak na kapupulutan ng aral at karunungan. Sa hapon na ito, pag-uusapan natin ang topic na pinamagatang flooding in Manila and the subsidence of cities around Manila Bay. Alam niyo po, alam po ng natin lahat o nakararami na yung usapin pong baha sa Manila ay isang problema na sabi nga po natin kanina ay isang napakatagal na kinakaharap na suliranin ng ating mga kababayan. Sabi nga po sa katagang Pilipino o Tagalog, ito ay parang isang plaka na paulit-ulit. So ngayong hapon po, alamin po natin ang kalagayan ng sitwasyon na ito sa Manila. Ito ba ay meron pa bang nakikitaan pa ba ng solusyon o masabi natin na hayaan na lang natin na tangayin tayo ng baha kung saan man tayo dalhin? So sa hapon na ito, ang ating pong panauhin ay suki na po siya dito sa ating programa at sa kabila po ng kanyang busy na schedule, kami po ay nagpapasalamat na mapaunlakan niya muli kami sa imbitasyon sa hapon na ito. Siya po ay nagtapos ng kanyang BS Geology no 1987, Master's degree naman po no 1993 sa Universidad ng Pilipinas sa Diliman. At natapos siya po ang kanyang doctoral degree in geology sa University of Cambridge in 2001. Ang kanya pong hindi maratawarang husay at galing sa disaster mitigation ang naging daan upang siya po ay maging Executive Director ng DOS's Project NOAA. He has published detailed analysis of major disasters in the Philippines such as the Mayon eruptions, typhoons Undoy, Sendong, Pablo, and Yolanda, and storm surges. Kaya wag na po natin patagalin ang ating introduction sa kanya. Let's all welcome academician and director ng UP Resilience Institute, Dr. Alfredo Mahar Lagmay. Sir Lagmay?
Ayun, naka-mute pala ako. Hello, good afternoon po. Maganda ang background natin ng Future Earth ah.
Sir, thank you po.
Apo. Okay. Sige, umpisahan na po natin. Ang talk ko po ay tungkol sa subsidence sa Metro Manila, actually Greater Metro Manila, and other metropolitan cities of the Philippines. So just let me share my screen. Kunin ko lang yung okay. Yan. So it's about ground subsidence in major Philippine metropolitan cities from 2014 to 2020. Yan po yung time period ng mga available data sets kung saan ginamit namin yung data sets na yon to be able to arrive at the study on ground subsidence. And the author actually is Jolly Joyce Sulapas, Audrey Ann Ibanez, Kayla Marasigan, Julian Grajada, and yours truly po. Bali si Jolly Joyce Sulapas is the main author of this work. She just presented this and also got her master's degree using this study of hers. Okay. So, ang area of study ay hindi lang po Metro Manila as was said in the introduction. Marami rin pong mga ibang lugar katulad ng Legazpi City, Iloilo City, Cebu City, and Davao City. Hopefully, we will be able to do the study also for the other cities of the Philippines. Pero we thought that these are the major ones at ito po yung nauna na ginawa ng pag-aaral. This is the workflow. No? We did what we call as interferometric synthetic aperture radar, time series analysis, and then pre-processed LIXAR products. LIXAR stands for looking into continents from space using synthetic aperture radar. And then, ang ginamit po ay yung LIXBAS and GACOS, which stands for, it's a technique looking into continents from space using small baselines. Ibig sabihin yung mga satellites ay maliit lang po ang difference ng position niya sa space when it took images of the Earth. Kasama po yung GACOS. To remove the noise, there's a service by the Generic Atmospheric Correction Online Service Group. From that, kinuha po yung velocity and the time series, and then the decomposition of the line of sight to vertical and horizontal components, which I think is the most important one kasi dito po nakuha yung vertical component, yung motion po, no? Yung rate ng paggalaw nung ground or deformation ng ground. The outputs, kinuha din po yung cumulative displacement, yung line of sight displacement, and then nagkaroon po ng comparison to be able to get the INSAR velocity and also the ground instrument data, which is the GNSS, which stands for the Global Navigation Satellite System. Bali, dalawa po yon, no? Yung remotely sensed imagery na radar images na kinulan po ng ground deformation para makuha yung INSAR velocity was compared to ground data instruments, yung tinatawag natin na GPS. These are differential GPS instruments ng NAMRIA or the National Mapping Agency of the Philippines. Okay, so yun po, hindi lang ito actual measurements coming from space, but also some measurements coming from the instruments of NAMRIA. And this is the result. Meron pong 2 images na nakapakita rito. One is a processed image coming from data sets. If you look at the left, yun po yung mga ascending track images. And yung nasa kanan, yung mga tinatawag na descending track images. Ibig sabihin po nun, yung pag-orbit po ng satellites ay, paano ko ba i-describe to? Kung counterclockwise o clockwise. But anyway, yung isa umaakyat galing sa south, tapos umiikot po. Tapos yung isa bumababa galing north, papunta sa south, tapos uulit po. Until magkaroon ng mga images through time, and yung mga dalawang groups na yon ay pre-process to reveal these 2 images. And we can see Greater Metro Manila, no, having areas or showing areas that sink or subside. Yun po yung tinatawag na ground subsidence. And they are depicted in both panels here as blue colors. And you can also see, what do you call this? A legend. A legend showing that yung mga blue, nakalagay dito po away, ibig sabihin they are sinking or they are moving away relative to sa satellite. So ibig sabihin lumalayo dun sa satellite. And that means that yung movement ng ground through time, which is from 2014 to 2020, na record po ng mga satellites. And they are shown as blue in this image. Okay. As I said earlier, from the workflow, meron tayong pag-resolve into the vertical component and also the east-west component, no? So yung horizontal component. Kasi yung line of sight po ng radar ay patagilid, diagonal. So if it's diagonal, we can resolve it into a vertical component at saka papunta po dun sa yung lateral east-west movement. The one to the left is the vertical component and the one to the right is the lateral east-west component. At makikita po natin na ito palang Greater Manila ay Metro Manila ay kitang-kita yung mga areas that sink or go down. And again, they are depicted as blue in the image doon sa left. Yung nandoon sa right, sila ay moving either west pag violet, tapos pag green, they are moving towards they are moving towards the, it's violet. Kaya pagka green, they are moving towards the east. Okay. Now, ito'y pa yung pinaka-importante kasi naka-resolve po into the vertical and the lateral component in the east-west direction. So importante po yung west when we talk about yung left panel when we talk about subsidence kasi ito po yung paglubog na tinatawag. And we have identified here 3 areas, or Jolly has identified 3 areas: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Yung po yung mga areas that have been identified to subside. At what rates? Ito po yung mga rates niya. So, resolved na po ito in terms of the vertical rates of deformation or movement. Sa Kalumpit, Bulacan, 54.1 millimeters or 5.4 centimeters.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Year. Si Siri nakikialam po. Oh. All right. Hello? Nandiyan pa po tayo?
Opo, sir.
Okay, good. I'm just checking kung nagsasalita ako at offline na pala ako. Okay, madalas po mangyari yun eh. Gigunto, Bulacan and Balagtas, Bulacan, minus 109 millimeters. That is 10.9 centimeters per year. So that is for the period, yung rate na yon from 2014 to 2020. Ibig sabihin po niyan, if nothing is done, and if that sinking rate continues, in 10 years, yung 10.9 centimeters is going to be 109 centimeters. So that is, tama ba? Yung 10.9 centimeters is going to be 1.09 meters per year. Tama, 1.09 meters in 10 years. Sa Marilao and Bocaue, Bulacan, it is 7.9 centimeters per year. In Marikina City, it's 4.2 centimeters per year. In Cavite, Rosario, which actually corresponds to an economic zone, it is 19.6 millimeters per year or 1.9 centimeters per year. Down south sa Dasmariñas, Cavite, it is 48.8 millimeters per year or 4.888 centimeters per year. Doon po sa Binyan, it is 63.7 millimeters per year or 6.3 millimeters per year. Binyan City, Laguna, it is 63.1 millimeters per year or 6.3 millimeters per year. So nakikita po natin medyo malaki, no? And what is noticeable, I think, is that nawala na dito yung Kamanaba or yung Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, and Valenzuela. Bakit po na-note ko yon? Kasi there was a time nung late 1990s and also in the early 2000s, there were studies that were made here. I believe there was a study na ginawa nung lab namin nung 2003 to 2009 that the rates of subsidence in the Kamanava area were as much as 4 to 5 centimeters per year. And pagbabalikan po natin yung image na yan, ang Malabon na Botas is somewhere here. Nakikita natin na hindi na po siya nakikitaan noong subsidence. What happened? I do not know. But I have some mga suspicions kung ano nangyari. I think nag-increase yung surface water supply and also baka na-monitor ng NWRB yung discharge rates ng groundwater. Ayun. So, kung pwede, ay palakpakan po natin yung mga Malabon na Botas and Caloocan for doing a good job, as well as yung mga national government officials who were able to rectify the problem of subsidence in those areas. Na ngayon ay hindi na lumalabas dito sa top ng Greater Metro Manila. But nonetheless, we still observe subsidence happening in these areas, and the top 8 are listed in this slide. Okay, isa-isahin po natin. Dito po sa A, B, and C, which are in nasaan ba yung A, B, and C? Nandito ito sa Bulacan. Teka, hahanapin ko. Meron ako nakikita sa may Giginto, sa may actually malapit sa Kalumpit na yun, ano, yung isa, yung A. Tapos Maloolos, Giginto, Balagtas, and Marilao. Yung C, Marilao. Dito naman po sa zones bali, asan ba dito yung B, C, and A? So ito yung A, B, and C. Mali ata itong okay, mali yung caption. Zones B, C, and G, and H. Okay, C. Asan na ba yung G and H? C, D. Okay, C is in, hindi naman makita yung C is in Marilao. Tapos yung, okay, that's C. D, there's subsidence also happening there in Marikina. And also F, G, and H, Dasmariñas, sa San Pedro, sa Laguna, and dito po sa letter H, kung saan man itong nasa letter H na to. West of Cabuyao. I think Cabuyao pa rin nga yan. Alright. In other places like Cebu, meron din pong mga nakikita na mga areas that actually subside. Okay? And this is the map of the ascending and descending processed satellite imagery. So again, like in Greater Metro Manila, yung pong mga blue ang titignan natin kasi yun yung may distance na lumalayo doon sa satellite. Sinasabing away. But if we resolve that, makikita na po natin clearly yung vertical deformation. Kaya po pala na-resolve into a vertical and the east-west component kasi yung yung ascending and descending pwedeng napagsama and based on their geometry na kukuha po yung vertical and yung east-west na lateral movement. So in Cebu, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas identified, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And hindi ko na mababasa, no? So magiging available naman yata itong PowerPoint na ito. I think there's a summary later on in table form na itong presentation na ito. Kung saan. Ito, medyo may summary. Merong Liloan and Consolacion Cebu, 5.5 millimeters per year or 0.5 centimeters per year. Again, nakikita natin na-identify but mas maliit compared dun sa values doon sa Greater Metro Manila. Mandaue City, Cebu, 0.61 millimeters per year. Talisay City, Cebu, 5.1 millimeters per year or 0.5 centimeters per year. Minglangilla, Cebu, 9 millimeters per year or 0.9 centimeters per year. Minglangilla and Naga City, Cebu, 4 millimeters per year, 0.4 centimeters per year. Naga City, Cebu, which is going down at rates at 10.6 millimeters per year or 1 centimeter per year. Again, although we have identified yung vertical deformation, yung paglubog ng lupa, these are large swaths of land, by the way. Compared to Greater Metro Manila, maliit pa po. No? But nonetheless, we have identified them because we do want to note that there is observed deformation in that area that is bowl-shaped. That means that sinking most likely is related to groundwater extraction. Most likely. No? But we're still not sure until magawan namin ng study to really find out the cause of that problem. Kasi there are many causes of ground sinking or ground subsidence. And later I will show to you what we suspect is the reason doon sa Metro Manila ang cause noong ground subsidence. Na I think because napuna natin na nagawa ng solusyon doon sa Nabotas, sa Malabon and yung Caloocan, yung southern part ng Caloocan. Yung Valenzuela may problema pa yata pero kasama kasi doon sa Camanaba. But makikita natin na when the scientists take note that there's a problem, government can take action and there can be a solution as what happened doon sa Camanaba. I also forgot to mention na yung Muntinlupa, which used to have a problem na nakikitaan din ng ground subsidence, ay ngayon po ay wala na rin doon sa top 8 na pinakita ko sa Greater Metro Manila. And we believe that that problem was solved because yung Muntinlupa ay nag-surface water supply. Parang nagkaroon ng plant doon, water plant, na kung saan kumuha sila sa laguna ng tubig, they filtered it out, they processed, and they used that water for the city. So ngayon, wala na doon sa top, no? Noong list doon sa Greater Metro Manila, yung Camanaba at saka Muntinlupa. Meron pa rin, pero hindi na ganun ka-alarming yung rates. Okay. Ito naman po yung Metro Davao. So meron din po sa Metro Davao, this is the ascending and the descending. When resolved, nakikitaan din po natin na may vertical deformation doon sa A, B, some small pockets sa C, sa D, E, and F. And these areas are moving downward. At what rates? Ito po. And nakikita natin medyo mas maiksi ito. Ibig sabihin, mas kulang yung images that are available for the area, but nonetheless, Jolly and the team were able to do this processing and analysis. Gohan, Panabo City, 3.8 centimeters per year. Mas malaki ito. Bunawan, Davao City, 1.38 centimeters per year. Talomo, Davao City, 1.52 centimeters per year. Buhangin, Davao City, 0.7 centimeters per year. Poblacion, Davao City, 1.52 centimeters per year. Talomo, Davao City, 1.35 centimeters per year. And lastly, I think ito yung last na pinag-aralan na metropolitan cities. Okay, this is the ascending and descending imagery. When processed together, we can resolve the vertical deformation as well as the lateral movement, no? The east-west movement. Now, titignan po natin yung left panel just like the others, what we did dun sa others. And there are some sites, broad sites na nakikitaan na merong pagbaba ng lupa, no, sa A, B, C, D, E, and F. And actually, if we look at it in terms of the rates from a graph, we can see this San Rafael, Iloilo City, 0.88 centimeters per year. Banuyao, Iloilo City, 0.81 centimeters per year. Kalahunan, Iloilo City, 0.4 centimeters per year. Albay Norte, Oton, 0.46 centimeters per year. Inungka, Pavia, 0.47 centimeters per year. Poblasyon Liganes, 0.26 centimeters per year. Parang yung pinakita ko kanina, if we are to compare the rates of ground sinking to Metro Manila, maliit po itong mga rates of subsidence nito, no? So, parang nasa 0.88, less than 1 centimeter, tama ba? O tama, less than 1 centimeter per year. Pero dilalagay na rin po namin kasi merong noted na subsidence. And those are in these areas na although maliit lang siya, nandoon siya, and siguro ang magandang mangyari dito ay malaman why that is so. Is it related to groundwater extraction? And if so, by how much? And what is important is to be able to identify them as what has been done para as early as now, kung meron man connection, ay magkaroon po ng intervention. So maliit po siya, and actually dapat matuwa nga ang na despite the urbanization in the area, the rates are not as great as in those parts of Greater Metro Manila that have subsidence at alarming rates. No? So nakalagay din po yan kasi yan po yung nakuha dun sa pag-aaral. No? Ayun po. Anyway, so again, just looking at the graph, ito po yan. Meron din po sa Legazpi. So meron doon mataas. I think that's related to Mayon volcano. That's ascending and descending. Even here in Legazpi, merong konti na nakukuha tayo na deformation rates na vertical. Again, so ayan po. Wala nang list but pinapakita na lang dito po yung comparison noong tawag dito, yung instrument record ng ground station, which is the GPS, the differential, that is static, na yung sabihin doon, nandun siya for the longest time. And also the results of the INSAR processing. Measurements, direct measurements. Hindi po ito mga models, no? Hindi po ito simulations. These are measurements coming from satellites. How it is done, medyo mas complicated pa po yung physics doon, which is not included in this line of work. So this is just mainly, not included in this presentation pala. And what is presented here are the actual results of the study from 2014 to 2020. Ito po yung mga consequences. No? Di ba, we are all concerned with sea level rise for coastal communities. Kasi pagka meron tayong sea level rise at rates of bago-bago yung nakikita ko or paiba-iba yung nakikita ko, but more or less it's in the range of probably 4 millimeters per year and siguro kung maximum man 9 millimeters per year. And if the sea level goes up, ang nangyayari ay nai-inundate yung land. Pero kapag meron tayong on top of sea level rise na subsidence due to anthropogenic causes, if that subsiding land area is near the coast, when the land goes down, syempre magkakaroon din ng inundation. So it's a combined effect probably of sea level rise and land subsidence for coastal areas when we see inundation. Na alam natin in many parts doon sa may Bulacan, sa may Giginto, na yung dating land, like for example, in this photo, kung saan sila nagsisimba, ay permanently inundated na by seawater. No? Ayan. So, houses, ayan. And nagkaroon ng mga problema dati sa Malabon City, di ba? Yung akyat ng akyat, yung mga kalye, tinatapala nila para pag high tide ay hindi na ang tawag dito ay nakakadaan pa rin yung mga kotse. So kaka-elevate nila nung ground, nung street, yung mga gates at saka yung mga doors ng houses ay nandun na lang at street level. Yung top nung gate or kalahati nung gate na mas mataas na yung kalye. Na dati nandun sa baba nung gate yung kalye. Okay. Tinignan din namin if it is related with pag-ulan, ano? Ito bang mga flooding dito ay dahil ba sa pag-ulan, dahil ba sa subsidence? Tinignan yung period, yung mga ulan coming from the NAIA and Science Garden synoptic stations from 1998 to 2020. And nakikita natin mas dumami pa nga yung ulan, no? So siguro ito yung sign na may mga predictions ang climate scientists na may climate change wherein yearly mas marami ang ulan, and you can see the regression line, it's on an upward trend. This came from Rodolfo and Siringan in their published article in 2026, which was a study that they made on the relationship of sinking of the ground and on sea level tide measurements, no, mga tide measurements and groundwater use. And the idea there in that paper was yung sinking, no, sinking doon sa areas ng north of Metro Manila, in the Malabon area, Navotas area, was related to groundwater use. Kasi with both plots ng ng sea level rise, the data, no, which was from 1900s to 1970s or just before 1980, the rate was about 1.3 millimeters per year. But after 1970 or early 70s, there was a steep rise in sea level as measured by, I think, tide gauges. Now, that is correlated by yung groundwater use na in this plot is shown to correspond to the sudden change or increase in the rate of sea level rise. So parang mas malaki yung groundwater use per day as plotted in this graph. Okay. So doon po nagkaroon ng idea na yung subsidence rates ng land was actually correlated with groundwater use. Now, merong isang part dito sa study which we find quite interesting, no? Kasi itong mga areas na to like in Carmona, sa San Pedro, used to be in Muntinlupa. Nakakita rin po ako ng mga malaking mga cracks diyan na we think is associated with yung subsidence that's due to groundwater extraction. Ang nangyayari po, yung pagbagsak ng lupa ay kasabay din are along those areas na dictated by the presence of splays noong Marikina Valley Fault. No? And kapag nangyari yung subsidence doon, sinusundan po niya yung trace ng splays ng fault, and therefore yung lupa ay hindi sabay-sabay bumabagsak. Kung hindi mas malaki yung bagsak doon sa isang part noong fault relative to the other block of the fault. Okay? So nangyayari po yan dito sa may San Pedro, sa may Cabuyao and Carmona. And what happens is yung mga kalye nabibiyak, and that yung arrows na yan, that's a difference. Yung dating flat na road ay on one side nakabagsak by about half a meter relative to the other side of the road. So dati siyang flat pero ngayon hindi na. So that is the effect on the road. Pero since mga fractures ito or what we think as splays of the Marikina Valley Fault, tumutuloy po lang yan. Hindi naman siya limited doon sa road kung hindi tumatagos doon sa mga kabahayan. And yung mga kabahayan at saka yung mga fences ng kabahayan na di-displace ng malaki, no? Here the displacement is about 1.2 centimeters. Tapos yung isa, nakikita nyo for scale, how much it was displaced. And the houses sometimes get tilted, hindi na makita kung ano, hindi, ang pangit ng tignan, yung mga fences ay nagigiba. Yung mga property na ininvestan ng mga pamilya, pinagbuhusan ng pagod, ng pawis nila, dugo, na makakita para makapundar ng bahay, okay siya nung una, pero later on, they will discover after 10 years or 15 years na yung bahay nila ay nasira na pala because of subsidence na dictated noong presence ng fault place ng Marikina Valley Fault. What more kung sa building nangyari ito, no? Na hindi ako magtataka kung nangyayari nga ito do sa mga buildings na nagsasubside and the subsidence is dictated by the presence of the splays or fractures. Na on one side, ganun ang itsura, and the other side nakabagsak na. So, nangyayari po ito sa mga kalye, sa mga fences, sa mga bahay, sa mga buildings. And this is something of concern kapag nangyari po ito. Yung Dasmariñas na pinakita kanina dito, I saw a plot hindi na present ni Jolly doon sa kanyang thesis defense na maraming mga groundwater wells dito sa letter F, which is in Dasmariñas. Nakikita din po natin dito yung Muntinlupa. Again, that was recognized before as having high rates of ground subsidence. Pero wala na po siya sa top 10. Na-reduce na po. Pwede na po din natin sigurong palakpakan yung Muntinlupa for doing something about the problem that was pointed out to them by scientific investigation, scientific studies, scientific studies by the scientists who worked on this problem as early as siguro mga 2003, 2005. And they were able to find a solution on that alarming rates of ground subsidence in Muntinlupa. I think I will end there, and siguro if there are questions, I am here with the other co-authors. Babalik ko lang doon sa first page. Okay, first page. And ayan. So, I think Audrey is here. Kyla also, Marasigan is here, and Julian Grajeda. Si Jolly Joy Sulapas po ay dahil po pumasa na ng thesis niya, nagbakasyon yata at hindi namin to make this presentation. But we are all here, the other co-authors, to answer your questions. Thank you.
Ako, sir. Salamat po sa napakagandang presentation. Kahit po pinag-uusapan po natin ang baha, yung inyo pong informations and graphs, kahit po ang dami pong mga technical terms and graphs, hindi po kami nalunod. Madali po namin naintindihan. Thank you po sa presentation.
Tanong
So, anyways, napakaganda po ng topic po natin, at kung meron lang po tayong unlimited time, i-extend po natin to until mga up to 3 hours. Sir Mahar, maraming salamat po sa pagpaunlak po sa aming imbitasyon na maging kaparte po ng The Filipino SDG Action Hour. At tulad nga po, ito po nangyayari po to sa ating bansa. Ito pong presentation ni Sir Mahar. Huwag po sana siya maging blueprint ng mga syudad sa ating bansa. Tulad nga po nasabi natin kanina, it's better to have a cure. It's better to mitigate para po kesa po sa lumala pa po yung sakit na nasa po nating bayan. So we need to be resilient and we need to use our resources sustainably. Tulad nga po ng pagpump po ng tubig, we have to be responsible in using it. And with that note, maraming salamat po sa pagsama po sa amin ngayong hapon at muli po tayo magkita next week. Same time, same channel. Have a great day. Bye.